Hey you guys, it's Amy with Myths and Legends from all over the world. As you can see, we are not at school. I'm at home today. There is a 4-day weekend, which is really nice. I am enjoying it. And you can also see that, yes, I cut my hair. So today's story is in Japan, and the story's name is The Battle of the Monkey and the Crab. So when you hear about stories with animals, usually the story is really cute, heartwarming, etc. But the story is actually very violent, and some people die, which really surprised me when I first heard it. So I hope you enjoy it. And first, I'm going to give you the listening questions. Go ahead and write them down before you listen to the story. Number 1, where did the crab live? Number 2, who wanted to help the crab pick the fruit off of his persimmon tree, and why did he want to help? Number 3, who happened upon the crab, and what did they plan to do? Number 4, please describe the battle and who won in the end. And number 5, in the end, who remained friends? Okay, I'll see you soon. On to the vocabulary. Number 1, expense, a detriment or sacrifice. I don't like it when you make jokes at my expense. Incur, to become liable to. Because I forgot to return my books for over 9 months, I incurred a heavy fee from the library. Marsh, low-lying, grassy wetland. In order to reach the mountain, you have to walk across thousands of miles of marsh. Persimmon, orange-red fruit that looks like a plum or tomato. The Japanese like to hang persimmons in order to dry them out. Chuckle, to laugh quietly. I chuckled while watching that dog try to eat the peanut butter. Go by, to become later by passing time. 3 years went by before I saw him again. Sprout, to produce branches or fruit, or to become larger. The small seed sprouted into a beautiful flower. Ripen, to develop fully, when fruit becomes ready to eat. You must eat the banana while it's yellow and ripe. If it becomes brown, it's too late. Sound, thorough. He gave such a sound explanation. Now I really understand his idea. Beating, the act of beating up. The young man received a beating from the police. Stonemason, a craftsman who works with stone or brick. Hundreds of stonemasons build the beautiful Taj Mahal in India. Pitiful, bad, unfortunate, deserving of pity. My puppy gives me a pitiful face when he wants to be fed. Mischief, reckless or malicious behavior. Children love to make mischief. Wound, an injury to skin or tissue. He had many wounds in his upper body after the car accident. Hearth, an area near the fireplace. They sat near the hearth and warmed their hands by the fire. Ember, a hot piece of wood or coal that comes from a fire or hearth. Even after the fire is out, the embers remain glowing. Howl, to scream loudly and for a long time. The dog howled for hours after his owners left the house. Seaweed, a plant growing in the sea. Sushi rolls are made from rice, fish, and seaweed. Battle, an open fight between two opposing groups. The Green Party and Blue Party engage in a battle for voters during election season in Taiwan. Dart, to move with sudden speed. The cat darted into the bathroom before I could close the door. Companion, a friend who is with you. It's always nice to have a companion with you while you travel abroad. Despair, the feeling that everything is wrong and nothing will turn out well. The sight of my ex-boyfriend holding hands with a new girl fills me with despair. Seize, to grab. In a hurry to get to work, I seized my jacket but forgot to pick up my gloves. Pursuit, the act of pursuing something or someone with the goal of capture. The robber ran with the police officer in hot pursuit. Trip, to cause to fall. My brother likes to put his foot out and trip other family members. Fatal, bringing death. Unfortunately, the wound was fatal, so the man died. Blow, a powerful strike with a fist or weapon. He received a fatal blow to the head. Triumph, a successful ending. Thankfully, the battle ended in triumph for our army. If a man thinks only of his own profit and tries to benefit himself at the expense of others, he will incur the hatred of heaven. Men should lay up in their hearts the story of the battle of the monkey and crab and teach it as a profitable lesson to their children. Once upon a time there was a crab who lived in a marsh in a certain part of the country. He had found a delicious rice cake and was just starting to eat it when a monkey came up to him. The monkey wanted to trade his tasteless, hard persimmon seed for the crab's rice cake. The crab, who was a simple-minded creature, agreed to this proposal, and they each went their own way, the monkey chuckling to himself at the good bargain which he had made. When the crab got home, he planted the persimmon seed in his garden, and, as time went by, it sprouted, and little by little grew to be a big tree. The crab watched the growth of his tree with great delight. When the fruit ripened, and he was going to pick it, the monkey came in and offered to gather it for him. The crab consented, so the monkey climbed up into the tree and began eating all the ripe fruit for himself. While he was eating, he threw down the sour persimmons for the crab to eat. The crab, however, was not pleased with this arrangement and thought that it was his turn to play a trick upon the monkey. So he called out to him to come down head first. The monkey did as he was told, and as he crawled down head first, the ripe fruit all came tumbling out of his pockets. The crab hurried to pick up all the persimmons before running off and hiding in a hole. The monkey, seeing this, waited, and as soon as the crab crept up out of his hiding place, gave him a sound beating and went home. Just at this time, a friendly egg and a bee, who were the apprentices of a certain stonemason, happened to pass that way, and, seeing the crab's pitiful condition, dressed his wounds and escorted him home. They then began planning their revenge against the cruel monkey. Having agreed upon a plan, they all went to the monkey's house and waited in secret for their enemy to come home. The monkey, unable to understand the mischief that was brewing, returned home. Having a fancy to drink a cup of tea, he lit the fire in the hearth. All of a sudden, the egg, which was hidden in the ashes of the hearth, threw some fiery embers at the frightened monkey's face. He fled, howling with pain and crying, "Oh, what an unlucky beast I am!" Wounded and angry, the monkey tried to go to the back of the house. The bee, waiting with a piece of seaweed, who had decided to join the battle, darted out of the cupboard with his companion to attack the monkey. The monkey was surrounded by enemies. In despair, he seized the coat rack next to the door and tried to fight them off. However, he was no match for them all and was obliged to run away, with the others in hot pursuit after him. Just as he was making his escape by a back door, the piece of seaweed tripped him, and the egg, closing in on him from behind, made the fatal blow. So the crab, having defeated his enemy, went home in triumph and lived ever after on terms of brotherly love with the egg, bee, and piece of seaweed. Was there ever such a fine piece of fun? Okay, now that you've heard this story, let's see how many listening questions you got. So here's number one. Where did the crab live? And the answer is the crab lived in the marsh. Remember, a marsh is like a grassy wetland. Number two, who wanted to help the crab pick the fruit off of his persimmon tree? And why did he want to help? The answer is the monkey wanted to help the crab pick his persimmons because he wanted to eat them himself. Yes, the monkey was very naughty. Number three, who happened upon the crab and what did they plan to do? The answer is a bee and an egg happened upon a crab. That's right. The egg is alive. When I read this story, I thought, wow, why would they have an egg? Why would an egg be a character in this story? I don't know. Japanese, man. So they brought him to his home and planned their revenge against the monkey. Oh yeah, you can see my dog. Okay. Hello. Okay, you'll see him in the background. Number four. Please describe the battle. Who won in the end? The answer is the crab and his friends went to the monkey's house, and the egg waited for the monkey to light the fire and threw embers at his face. Then the piece of seaweed tripped him, and the egg killed him. Yeah, so this was a planned attack. I think they knew that they really couldn't do it by themselves, so they had to help each other. And each character played their part in a unique way, right? For example, the egg kind of hid in the fire, but the egg was probably the only one who would be able to stay in the fire, right? I just think the way that they use the characters in this story is really interesting. And last one, number five. In the end, who remained friends? And the answer is the crab remained good friends with the bee, the egg, and the piece of seaweed. Okay, so now we just have the pronunciation and then you'll be done. Stay tuned. All right, last part is pronunciation. As always, just listen first and then you can repeat after me. Number one, there was a crab who lived in a marsh in a certain part of the country. Lots of little words here, and we have to be careful. Remember, words like the, of, they aren't really stressed in English. You say them very quickly, and you say them together. So let's look at the first part. There was a crab. And you can also do this for, in the middle, they say, who lived in a marsh. So, in a, very fast, in a marsh, in a marsh. And the last part, in a certain, and I guess we can do one more, of the country. So all of these small words, they are said extremely quickly, and they aren't said word by word. They're said kind of together because they're not really important. So listen again to the whole sentence, and then you can repeat. Number one, there was a crab who lived in a marsh in a certain part of the country. Okay. Number two, the crab blah, blah, blah. The crab watched the growth of his tree with great delight. Okay, so let's look at this word crab. Crab. The A has to be kind of up, right? Crab. And then we are going to be looking at the word delight. Delight. So you'll notice I don't say the T at the end. I don't say delight. I just say delight. Okay, so let's say the whole sentence again. The crab watched the growth of his tree with great delight. And repeat. Okay, number three, listen. He called out to him to come down head first. Okay? He called out to him. Out to. Yeah, very fast, right? And the to becomes a t. Very, very fast. Okay? So let's say this again. full sentence and repeat. Number 3, he called out to him to come down head first. Number 4, they began planning their revenge against the cruel monkey. Okay, so look at this word cruel, cruel, cruel. If you're from the South, we're going to say it a bit differently. We say cruel, cruel. But you can also say cruel. It'll come like an U first and then an O at the end. Cruel. Yeah, it's quite difficult, but I want you to practice, okay? Cruel, cruel, cruel monkey. Okay, and let's say the sentence together. They began planning their revenge against the cruel monkey. All right, and number 5, this is the last one. Was there ever such a fine piece of fun? The first part, such a. So almost think of it as one word, such a. And the second part is piece. Make sure your mouth is very wide for this long E sound, piece, piece. Okay? Whole sentence. Was there ever such a fine piece of fun? And repeat. Okay, this is our story today, and of course we have so many other stories you can listen to. If you are wondering anything, if you have any questions, go ahead and write it on our YouTube page and I will get back to you. Otherwise, you can see me next week. Bye-bye, you guys.